about 12 months ago that it was all put together, that it was a collaboration between the young people of Alexandra, but also the RSL here in the middle of town. And so the idea was to work together to come up with a mural that was the storyline of what had occurred in all theatres of war, from the Boer War right through to present day and most recently the Vietnam campaign. The design came about through a collaboration between the young people of Alexandra and the members of the RSL. It was actually quite a long process because we used the RSL's library as a resource to get all of the materials that were required for the design. The design took many drafts. It took quite a long period of time because the distance, the extent of the mural from the Boer War right through to the Vietnam campaign, there was so much that was involved with gathering all that information to come up with the design. And as I say, many drafts occurred before we came up with the final product. And then it was laid out on the wall, and now the mural painting has actually begun.
What can I say after I've taken the blame? You say you're through, you'll go your way, but I'll always feel just the same.
Once the design was actually approved, then I actually laid it out on the wall to begin with. Because it is a weatherboard wall, it was necessary to have the design drawn out initially, and now the young people in the area have been helping me to actually colour it all in. There's an enormous amount of detail in this design, and so it's taken a long period of time to actually fill in all of the areas of the mural itself. The completed mural will actually tell that story. So you'll be able to walk from the beginning of the building, where there is the light horse from the Boer War, all the way through to the Vietnam campaign, and see the story of what happened in all of those theatres of war over so many decades. I can remember this in great detail because my father was actually involved in that. He was actually in anti-aircraft in Palestine, Syria and Lebanon, and then of course when the Japanese had bombed Darwin and become very much part of the war, all of the troops got sent back from the Middle East to Port Moresby, and that's when the campaign started in New Guinea. And he was very much part of that as well. So it's an important factor, as we've described here in the mural, the transition from the Middle East campaigns right through into the warfare that occurred in New Guinea. I can remember my father talking to me about that, the fact that when they returned from the Middle East, they were still wearing their desert uniforms, and yet they landed in a jungle warfare. And so it was a major problem that they actually had their desert short uniforms with short sleeves, etc., but they were in a jungle environment, and I believe that they had a lot of trouble with issues like with the mosquitoes and malaria and things like that. So we've depicted that as part of this mural project.